After the massive success of the 2002 live-action Scooby-Doo film, audiences were instantly drawn to Matthew Lillard's eccentric, high-energy portrayal of Shaggy Rogers. Lillard had managed to breathe new life into the beloved animated character, capturing both the stoner vibe and childlike innocence that made Shaggy a cultural icon. The film itself was a commercial hit despite mixed reviews, and Lillard was widely considered one of its standout performers. He reprised the role again in 2004's Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, which also performed respectably at the box office. For many fans, Lillard was Shaggy, so when the franchise seemingly disappeared from the big screen, the question naturally arose, what happened to Matthew Lillard after Scooby-Doo? Lillard's career after Scooby-Doo did not follow the typical Hollywood leading man trajectory many might have expected. He didn't suddenly become an A-list staple or land franchise after franchise. Instead, Lillard took a quieter, more deliberate route through Hollywood, prioritizing roles that allowed him to grow creatively rather than those designed solely for box office draw. While he never entirely disappeared from the spotlight, he certainly faded from the mainstream view that had embraced him during the peak of the early 2000s. For a while, it seemed like he had been typecast or simply moved to the background. But in truth, Matthew Lillard was busy reinventing himself, both as an actor and as a creative force in the industry. In the years following Scooby-Doo 2, Lillard explored a range of independent film projects. Unlike his earlier roles in Scream, Hackers, or She's All That, where he was often the comic relief or quirky sidekick, these indie roles allowed him to display his dramatic range. One of the most significant turning points in his post-Scooby-Doo career was his role in Alexander Payne's The Descendants, 2011, where he played Brian Spear, a real estate agent entangled in a secret affair. Though the role was relatively small, it was emotionally charged and nuanced, and it reminded audiences and critics alike that Lillard could do more than just scream or stumble around for laughs. His performance in The Descendants was a quiet but powerful reintroduction to an actor with much more range than Hollywood had previously allowed him to show. During this period, Lillard also took an interest in voice acting when Casey Kasem, the original voice of Shaggy in the animated Scooby-Doo series, retired in 2009. Lillard was asked to step in, and he accepted the role with honor and gratitude. It wasn't just another job to him, it was a legacy. Lillard had deep respect for Kasem and understood the emotional attachment fans had to the character. He quickly became the new voice of Shaggy across various Scooby-Doo animated films, TV, series, and video games. His commitment to the role was consistent and heartfelt, and he often said in interviews that being the voice of Shaggy was one of the most fulfilling aspects of his career. Unlike many actors who would view voice work as a step down, Lillard embraced it with enthusiasm and humility, aware that this continuation meant a great deal to generations of fans. But acting was just one part of what Lillard focused on during his post-Scooby-Doo years. Behind the scenes, he was nurturing a passion for directing and producing. In 2012, Lillard made his directorial debut with Fat Kid Rules the World, a heartfelt indie film about a suicidal teenager who finds new purpose through punk rock. The film was well received on the festival circuit, winning the Audience Award. At South by Southwest, Lillard's transition into directing wasn't a vanity project or a one-time attempt to try something new. It was a deeply personal endeavor. He had long been interested in storytelling beyond acting and saw directing as a natural extension of his creative vision. Though Fat Kid Rules the World didn't make a splash at the box office, it earned him credibility as a filmmaker with a distinct voice and emotional depth. Throughout the 2010s, Lillard continued working steadily, though not always in high-profile projects. He appeared in a mix of television guest roles, indie films, and voice work. In 2018, he landed a recurring role on the critically acclaimed drama Good Girls, where he played Dean Boland, the husband of Christina Hendricks's character. This role once again showcased his range, allowing him to portray a character who was simultaneously pathetic, infuriating, and oddly sympathetic. Audiences who had only known Lillard as a comic actor were surprised at how effectively he could evoke layered emotion in a dramatic context. Another surprising success came in 2021 when Lillard appeared in the fan-favorite horror video game Five Nights at Freddy's, and later returned for the 2023 film adaptation in which he played William Afton, a central antagonist. His casting was met with excitement from horror and gaming fans alike, as it marked a return to his genre roots. The role allowed Lillard to lean into the darker, more sinister territory he had once explored in Scream, but this time with the maturity and gravitas that came from decades of experience. His presence added legitimacy and nostalgia to the adaptation, further solidifying his status as a cult icon. What's more striking about Matthew Lillard's post-Scooby-Doo career is how much of it was defined by personal choice rather than industry momentum. While many actors scramble to remain relevant or chase the next blockbuster, Lillard chose a different route. He focused on meaningful roles, quality work, and maintaining a balance between professional and personal life. He's been candid in interviews about the challenges of Hollywood, how roles dry up, how fame is fickle, and how the business often forgets you once you've outgrown a particular type. But Lillard has always been self-aware, realistic, and deeply grounded. He's spoken openly about the pressures he felt early in his career to be funny or outrageous, and how stepping back from the spotlight allowed him to find genuine fulfillment in his craft. Outside of acting and directing, Lillard has also ventured into entrepreneurship. He co-founded Beadle & Grimm's, a company that produces high-end boxed sets and accessories for tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons. The company has grown in popularity among gaming enthusiasts, reflecting Lillard's lifelong passion for storytelling and geek culture. His involvement is not just superficial, he's hands-on with the creative process and often speaks passionately about the company's mission to elevate the tabletop gaming experience. This endeavor once again showed that Lillard was more than just a performer. He was a creator, a fan, and a builder of communities. He wasn't content with just being a former movie star. He wanted to make things that mattered to people. In his personal life, Lillard has been notably private but openly devoted to his family. He's been married to Heather Helm since 2000, and together they have 3 children. While many celebrities parade their personal lives across social media or in tabloids, Lillard has largely avoided that kind of exposure. He's given the occasional heartfelt interview about parenting or balancing family with work, but he's never sought attention for it. That low-key stability has been a cornerstone of his post-fame life. It allowed him to keep his feet on the ground while continuing to navigate the unpredictable world of Hollywood. Over time, Lillard has also become something of a cult hero. Thanks to the internet and the power of nostalgia, his roles in Scream, Scooby-Doo, and Hackers have been reevaluated and celebrated by new generations. Memes of his Shaggy character abound online, with fans humorously attributing godlike powers to the otherwise cowardly character. Lillard has embraced the meme culture with good humor, often engaging with fans and leaning into the joke in a way that feels authentic rather than forced. He doesn't take himself too seriously, and that has only made people respect him more. In recent years, Matthew Lillard's renaissance has picked up momentum. His ability to oscillate between dramatic roles, horror, comedy, and even villainous turns has made him more in demand than ever. Younger filmmakers who grew up watching him are now casting him in projects that play to his strengths while acknowledging his legacy. He's no longer just the wild guy from Scream or the lanky slacker from Scooby-Doo. He's a seasoned, multifaceted artist who has earned his place through persistence, reinvention, and authenticity. So what really happened to Matthew Lillard after Scooby-Doo? The answer is that he grew up gracefully, thoughtfully, and with purpose. He didn't chase fame for fame's sake. He made bold choices, embraced unexpected opportunities, and stayed true to himself. In doing so, he carved out a career that's more interesting, more varied, and ultimately more meaningful than many of his early contemporaries who may have peaked in the spotlight and then faded entirely. Lillard is proof that success in Hollywood doesn't always come from being the loudest or most visible. Sometimes it comes from doing the work quietly, consistently, and with heart. And in that respect, Matthew Lillard has never really gone anywhere. He's just been building something far deeper all along. After the frenzy of early 2000s fame, when Lillard's face was on billboards and his name in the credits of wide-release studio films, many assumed he would continue climbing that conventional ladder to stardom, but that wasn't the path he was interested in. In an industry driven by box office numbers and PR machines, he made a conscious decision to step off the treadmill of blockbuster pursuits. It wasn't because he lacked the talent or appeal to go further, but because he realized something more important. Fame is fleeting, but craft endures. This awareness pushed him to reevaluate what success truly meant. Instead of measuring it by how many tickets he could sell or how many red carpets he could walk, he began measuring it by the quality of the stories he could tell, the integrity of his roles, and the balance he could strike between career and family. This shift didn't come overnight. Like many actors who found themselves typecast after big hits, Lillard had to fight to be seen differently. Hollywood can be unforgiving once you become known for a specific kind of role. For Lillard, it was the wild, manic energy that defined his early parts in Scream, 13 Ghosts, and Scooby-Doo. These performances were memorable and even iconic in their own right, but they came with limitations. Casting directors couldn't always envision him in quieter, more restrained roles, yet rather than rage against that typecasting, Lillard slowly and methodically proved his range. Whether through stage performances, small independent films, or television appearances, he consistently demonstrated that there was more to him than what audiences had seen in the multiplexes. In interviews over the years, Lillard has spoken about the internal struggles that came with fading from the spotlight. Like any performer who had tasted fame, there was a temptation to chase its return, but Lillard chose instead to lean into the discomfort, to sit with the quiet, and to use it as fuel for creative growth. He studied directing. He read scripts that didn't come with seven-figure deals but had something to say. He even embraced roles that many of his contemporaries would have passed on, characters who were broken, flawed, or unlikable because they offered complexity and honesty. That bravery to step away from the obvious and into the unknown is what truly sets his journey apart. The evolution of Lillard's career is also defined by his deep sense of loyalty and passion for the characters he plays. Nowhere is this more evident than in his long-standing relationship with the character of Shaggy Rogers. After stepping in to voice the character in animated form, he became not just a replacement for Casey Kasem, but a continuation of a legacy. He has voiced Shaggy in dozens of films, series, and games, bringing the same level of commitment and care each time. This wasn't just a gig to him. It was a duty. He understood that fans of the franchise expected authenticity and heart, and he made sure to deliver both. His voice performances are filled with the same quirky cadence and emotional sensitivity that made his live-action portrayal so beloved, showing his ability to adapt while still maintaining consistency. His work outside of the entertainment industry further reflects his desire to lead a purpose-driven life. Lillard's involvement with Beadle & Grimm's, the premium tabletop game company he co-founded, is more than just a business venture. It's an expression of his love for imagination, storytelling, and community. Through this company, he has tapped into the vibrant world of Dungeons & Dragons, collaborating with like-minded creatives to bring high-quality narrative tools to gaming tables around the world. It's a project that merges his personal interests with his professional skills, allowing him to stay creatively fulfilled even when he's not in front of the camera. It also represents a shift from the self-centered model of Hollywood celebrity to something more communal and collaborative, which aligns perfectly with the values Lillard has espoused throughout his career. There's also something deeply human about Lillard's approach to fame. He doesn't put on airs or pretend to be someone he's not. Whether engaging with fans at conventions, doing press for a new project, or interacting on social media, he comes across as refreshingly real. He's quick to laugh at himself, to acknowledge his missteps, and to share insights from his journey without sugarcoating them. This relatability has endeared him to fans old and new, creating a kind of grassroots following that doesn't rely on the latest blockbuster, but on genuine admiration. He is the kind of actor who earns respect not with headlines, but with consistency, humility, and sheer talent. In many ways, Matthew Lillard represents a kind of career blueprint for actors who want to play the long game, instead of burning out. From overexposure or losing relevance by refusing to evolve, he found a way to stay active, relevant, and happy by following his own compass. His career has not been about reinvention in the showy, headline-grabbing sense, but about quiet transformation. It's a story of perseverance, grounded in passion, patience, and an unwavering belief in the value of meaningful work. He's not defined by a single character or a single moment, but by the totality of a career that continues to grow, surprise, and inspire. Today, when fans look back at his earlier work, they do so not just with nostalgia, but with a deeper appreciation for the journey he has taken. They remember the zany, unpredictable energy he brought to roles like Stu in Scream or Shaggy in Scooby-Doo, but they also recognize that those performances were just the beginning. They were springboards, not endpoints. Fans can now see how he's taken the momentum from those iconic characters and transformed it into a multi-dimensional career built on substance rather than stardom. What makes Lillard's evolution so compelling is that he never tried to completely distance himself from those early roles. Instead, he honored them, while showing that he had far more to offer as both an artist and a human being. Lillard didn't allow himself to be trapped in the past, nor did he reject it. He carried it with him while growing into roles that reflected his maturity and emotional depth. Over time, his performances became more nuanced, restrained, and rooted in real human experience. Whether it was his raw and heartfelt turn in Alexander Payne's The Descendants or his complex portrayal in Twin Peaks: The Return, Lillard showcased a willingness to be vulnerable and explore uncharted emotional territory. These roles may not have made massive box office waves, but they did something more important. They earned the respect of his peers and gave audiences a reason to see him in a new light. The shift from a comedic, high-energy actor to a grounded, multifaceted performer wasn't flashy, but it was genuine, and that authenticity resonates. Beyond acting, his expansion into directing and producing has allowed him to explore storytelling on a different level. He has become a true craftsman, someone who cares deeply about narrative structure, character development, and emotional honesty. His directorial debut, Fat Kid Rules the World, may not have been a commercial juggernaut, but it demonstrated his commitment to stories that matter, stories about outsiders, about growing up, about facing yourself in a world that doesn't always understand you. These themes echo Lillard's own journey, making his work feel personal and purposeful. Ultimately, Matthew Lillard is a testament to the power of endurance in a career that often rewards flashover foundation. He reminds us that success isn't always measured by magazine covers or blockbuster openings, but by the integrity of the work and the impact it leaves behind. In a time when viral fame can be achieved in seconds and forgotten just as quickly, Lillard's career is a slow-burning candle, steady, warm, and quietly illuminating everything around it. He may not always be in the spotlight, but he's always been present, always creating, and always proving that the most meaningful journeys are often the ones taken off the beaten path.